From Hollywood, California, this is SMPTE 2016 Live, produced by Broadcast Beat.
Hello and welcome to SMPTE 2016 Live. I'm your host, Ryan Salazar, all the way from Los Angeles, California, and with continuing coverage of the 2016 Annual Technical Conference and Exhibition at the Loews Hollywood Hotel, we have a good friend of mine, Sam Bogoch, CEO of Axle Video. How you doing, Sam?
Good to see you.
So how's SMPTE treating you?
It's been great this year, actually. Probably, up like 30% over what we'd expect for a show like this. The last few years, they've been opening up the show more, and obviously this is the 100th centenary or whatever. So I think a lot of buzz and exciting announcements and things.
All right, so folks, everybody knows who Axle Video is at this point. It's a household name, like Broadcast Beat, right? So just for the folks that may not know, talk about Axle and what you guys do.
Sure, happy to. We do lightweight software that lets you catalog what's on your storage and find stuff, for lack of a better description. So if you need to find that clip, if you need to find that portion of the clip where you have important material, most of our customers have tens or even hundreds of terabytes of video footage and audio clips and still images. What our software helps you do is get to the bottom of it and find the stuff that you need to use.
Okay, so what do you see happening with the industry as a whole? As everything's digitized nowadays, but how do you see the industry evolving over, let's say, the next year or 2 years?
Well, the biggest change I see is all this new content that's flowing in. Traditional broadcast is kind of so big, and it grows a little bit and so forth, but it kind of is what it is. Where we see all the new content is, of course, the YouTube content, the Facebook Live content, the Periscope stuff, the sports, the universities, the churches. That's where literally each of these groups is probably doing as much video as traditional broadcasters ever did. So in a way, it's all the people that aren't here at this conference that are just increasing the amount of video every year.
All right, so when you think about formats, because obviously SMPTE is here for standards, and you as an asset management organization, basically, you have to cater to pretty much everyone to be able to manage any kind of assets, because a lot of people don't stick to standards. Obviously,
right.
We need those standards,
right.
But they're getting more and more diverse. So what are you seeing in that area?
Well, the big trend that we're seeing is just, as you say, people just not adhering to standards and doing whatever. It used to be that when people went out on a shoot, they would have a format in mind. They would go out and we're shooting XD cam. And then all day they would shoot the same exact footage with the same exact frame rate and so forth. Now they go out in the shoot and like, hey, anybody got a GoPro? I want to get a second angle. Anybody got an iPhone? I want a third angle. I'm going to strap this to my shoulder and I'm going to turn like that. And so you end up with all this footage from different frame rates, different aspect ratios, different actual codecs, and they have to combine that into a consistent work, for finished, whether they're broadcasting it or however they're going to use it on the web. So that's the biggest challenge, is just so much more footage, and then the formats that it comes in are almost random.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how I've seen so many projects, not with our stuff, but other organizations where they've got one piece of the project is in 23976, but the same exact spot they're producing is in 2997 on another. Right. It's kind of crazy, but so then that brings up a company in mind, and that you recently have a new partnership with, Avid. I've always been a lover of Avid Media Composer, for example, which is kind of locks you down and makes sure that you're sticking to a specific thing with that project. It kind of sticks to those standards.
It used to. They've opened it up a little bit now with what was called AMA. I mean, basically, you can bring in a wide variety of media now and mix and match in the timeline. So I'd say at this point, it's actually kind of a toss-up between Avid and Premiere, and Final Cut Pro 10 is still in the hunt in terms of tools for working with all these new media.
Right. So as far as Avid goes, though, but you recently had a big announcement with them.
We did. We're totally excited about this. So Avid is now bundling our software with all of their Nexus Pro storage systems. So when you buy a storage system from Avid, it's coming with a 2-user, what we call starter version of Axle. And that's because even though Avid has always had media management solutions, they were relatively high-end. So you had Interplay Production, Media Central, Interplay Mem. These started about $50,000. And for the average small team that's buying a $10,000 or $15,000 storage system, that's kind of a non-starter. But with our stuff, you now get the software with that media management system.
In terms of shared storage systems, there are a lot of solutions out there. What kind of trends are you seeing in that area?
Well, it is. It's very diverse. They're great vendors. Obviously, doesn't begin and end with Avid. You've got people that are doing more and more with network attached storage, or NAS. So companies like GTEC, for instance, they have this product called the G-Rack, which is their first network storage device. And it's really powerful. It also starts at under $20,000. There are companies like Facilis, SNS, DDP from Europe. So some really great technology and lots of good choices. Many more choices at these kinds of prices. Like if a few years ago, if you were looking for something between $10,000 and $20,000, it was pretty slim pickings. But now you can get like very high capability storage systems for that price range.
Yeah, all right, so now mobile devices, even at Broadcast Beat, we utilize mobile devices all the time for different types of things, social media and whatnot, but it's part of the approval process now for a lot of ad agencies, viewing footage, whatever, but you guys are integrated with mobile?
We are, so we support both iPhone and Android clients in our core software, and we've also, over the last year or two, been starting to do more in terms of actual mobile apps that will talk to Axle and let you create these kind of client-server workflows. The biggest thing we've done is this thing called Axle Edit, which is actually an iPad app. It also works with the bigger iPhones like 6, 6S Plus, 7. And so what Axle Edit lets you do is search what's on the storage, combine it with footage that you've just shot, and then render back on the server when you're done. So you can combine B-roll, you can have HD or even 4K footage on that server, and then whatever you're working with on your iPad that you just shot, you can really put it together into a complete story. So it's designed for kind of the field journalist or predator type workflow, but also for people like producers who want to take dailies and assemble them into rough cuts.
Okay, so as far as, I'm real curious, so when somebody says, I'm going to do this edit from this iPad, whatever, and it's connected to the Axle server, the video server, I assume the transcoding is happening on the server level.
That's right.
And so are you using like a third-party app to do the rendering? Or
we actually build our own transcoding into Axle, so it handles that as well as the rendering on the server side.
Oh, very nice. So how is all of this impacting broadcasters? Because think about it, you've got, and let's just be honest, there's old school broadcast type guys, there's the new school guys, and I kind of see myself as a hybrid. So I learned from the old school guys, and I see myself as sort of that, and I see myself as sort of the IT guy. So there's still pushback in the new tech, but it's coming so fast that everybody has to just move with it. How do you see all that affecting broadcasters?
Well, like you say, there are old school shops that are set up a certain way, and they'll have legacy equipment, from a company like Imagine or Belden Grass Valley. Those shops are moving somewhat more slowly, of course. But meanwhile, the real growth that we see is all these non-traditional media, like every college sports team, a lot of high school sports teams. It used to be just the mega churches, but now it's the small and mid-sized churches. They want a way to project what they do out to people that might not be able to physically come in every Sunday. So they want to be able to put that on the web. And so there are so many uses of this stuff and so many places that the technology can kind of pop up. I think if you were to ask a company like NewTek, for instance, or us, where our business is coming from, only about, in our case, maybe 10 or 15% of it is traditional broadcast. The other 85% plus is all these other categories. So those are people that don't have legacy systems in place, but need capabilities. They need to be able to stream, they need to be able to capture multiple channels in HD or 4K, and they're not burdened with old ways of doing things. So some of the smarter broadcasters are catching up quickly and being more nimble. One large broadcaster that I talked to here has told me that he just wants to spin things up in terms of small teams, very much the way you've got your equipment set up here. Why does he need to have a central infrastructure when really the network is just a collection of shows? So each show, yes, needs its own storage, needs some lightweight media management, needs editing, but they don't have to have like a central NBC 30 Rock style facility these days to get their work done. And in fact, there are a lot of costs associated with centralizing that are not good. So I guess the big trend we see is these 5-person, 10-person teams getting stuff done at costs that would have been just totally impossible 5 years ago, and in many cases with production values that are better than what you could do 5 years ago. So it's pretty exciting.
Excellent. Well, again, from Hollywood, California, this is SMPTE 2016 Live. We're covering the SMPTE Hollywood and Highland 2016 Annual Technical Conference and Exhibition. It's always a pleasure to have you. If you want to check out Axle Video, maybe you're watching online and you're going to show up at the show today or tomorrow, visit booth 425. Ask for Sam Bogoch, CEO of Axle Video. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Thanks so much. And should I give my
go
URL?
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're at www.axlevideo.com. AXLEVIDEO.com.
All right, we'll see you soon.